all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business.
Good morning and thanks for listening in. This is the daily morning update from Bloomberg Quint and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 28th of April. A new study has suggested that the COVID-19 virus appears to linger in the air in crowded spaces or rooms that lack ventilation, which supports a theory that it can spread through tiny airborne particles known as aerosols. At two hospitals in Wuhan, China, researchers found bits of the virus's genetic matter floating in the air of hospital toilets, an indoor space housing large crowds, and rooms where medical staff take off protective gear. So there's still a lot we don't know about this disease because the study, which was published yesterday in the journal Nature Research, didn't seek to establish whether the airborne particles could cause infections. The virus, meanwhile, has now infected over 28,000 people in India as the government considers extending the lockdown for a second time. The country added 1,463 new cases of COVID-19 yesterday, taking the total tally to 28,380, according to the Health Ministry's update at 5 p.m. Meanwhile, global confirmed cases have crossed 3 million, even as Italy reported the lowest levels of new infections in 7 weeks and prepared to begin reopening. US states, including Florida and Ohio, took steps towards easing restrictions. Now, Bloomberg reported this during market hours yesterday, but you might have missed it, so it bears repeating. The government here in India is considering a proposal to guarantee as much as 3 lakh crore rupees of loans to small businesses as part of a plan to kickstart the economy. Under the proposal, small firms will be eligible to borrow an additional 20% of their credit limit, according to people in the know who spoke to Bloomberg. The extra debt will be fully backed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi's administration, and the government will set up a special fund to pay for any defaults. Meanwhile, in their meeting with the Prime Minister on Monday, some chief ministers sought an extension in the nationwide lockdown to contain the coronavirus pandemic, while gradually resuming economic activity. Puducherry Chief Minister V. Narayanasamy told reporters after the meeting that the chief ministers that met the Prime Minister yesterday, 8 of them, were unanimous in advocating caution given the increase in the number of COVID-19 cases. The NSE Brokers Lobby wants the market regulator to set up a high-level committee to take over the management of Franklin Templeton Mutual Fund after the asset manager wound up 6 debt mutual fund schemes, citing liquidity issues caused by the new coronavirus pandemic. The Association of National Exchange Members of India also asked SEBI to examine investment decisions of the mutual fund, besides safeguarding erosion of the investor wealth. That's according to its letter to the Finance Ministry and the Securities and Exchange Board of India. In global commodities, oil fell after the biggest oil ETF said it would sell out of its June WTI futures position as physical oil storage levels continue to balloon. Futures in New York slid as much as 30%, snapping a 4-day recovery. It settled at just over $12 to the barrel. While US drilling is falling, and Saudi Arabia has started reducing output ahead of the start date for OPEC Plus supply cuts, an immense surplus of oil means storage tanks are close to capacity around the world. Despite the fall in oil prices, though, stocks advanced as major economies moved towards reopening and policymakers in Japan and Europe sought to reduce pressure on credit markets. The 3 averages in the US gained between 1% and 1.5%, and 2 of the 3 early rises in Asia were positive at the start. The Nikkei 225 in Japan was just a shade in the red last I checked. And with that, it's over to Agam Vakil for the trade setup for the day in India. Morning, Agam. How are we looking this Tuesday morning?
Good morning, Alex, and good morning, listeners. The SGX Nifty, with a 100-point gain for now, is indicating another strong start to the session. In stocks and news, we start with earnings. IndusInd Bank reported a strong net interest income growth of 45% year-on-year, higher than consensus, but profit declined 16% year-on-year on account of higher provisioning. HDFC Life Insurance saw its gross premium grow 3% and net profit declined 14% year-on-year. The company says its top line was impacted to the extent of 400 to 500 crores in terms of new business premium due to coronavirus impact. The HDFC Life Insurance Board has given an in-principle approval to raise 600 crores via non-convertible debentures. The company has created a reserve of 41 crores towards COVID-19. Moving on to the cement major, we have Ambuja Cement, which announced a revenue decline of 3.4% year-on-year on a standalone basis, with net profit declining by 6.5%. It did see an expansion in operating margins on account of lower power, fuel and logistics costs, but sales volumes declined 10% year-on-year. Today, we will be watching out for Axis Bank's earnings. Moving on, we have the board of Just Dial, which will consider a buyback on Thursday, April 30th. Indiabulls Real Estate Company says that its senior management will take pay cuts of up to an average of 50% for FY21. Narendra Gehlot, Vice Chairman, will be drawing a no salary for the year. The managements of Manappuram Finance will meet Key Rock Capital, and that of Affle India will meet Nippon India Mutual Fund today. Besides this, there are a whole list of companies which are opening up operations gradually, and some of these names include SH Kelkar, Minda Industries, Everest Industries, as well as Havells. Now, these are just some of the stocks that you can watch out for as we move into trade today, but don't forget to go through our morning edition of All You Need to Know only on BloombergQuint.com.
Thanks, Agam. And as always, thank you all for listening in. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great day and stay safe.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you can listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma, or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.